Alright, this is my iPad stand. You can see it's 1-inch PVC. Goes down to a T that sits between the seat and the center console. I put that little leg in the front so give it a little bit more forward and backwards stability. This will move wherever I want it to. It'll spin. I put this in here so it can spin sideways this way. Sometimes if you kick it up this way, it needs to move a little bit differently. The power cord goes in through the middle here and out through the back. And also have an auxiliary, an aux-in cord here that goes in through that back hole here, and then it comes up here. I drilled a teeny hole in there just to kind of stick that in there for safekeeping. This is what it looks like with the iPad on there. And then I can plug this into the audio out. Power cord plugs in there, and that's it. It's pretty good. You can take it in and out of the car really easily. Fits in a few different cars. And that is it. I also did another one of these pieces here on the front of my phone so that I could put that on there. So with the phone in there, there's that. Alright. Okay, this is my car iPad stand 2.0. Basically, as you saw in the beginning of the video, the stand just fits in between the seat and the center console. This is the cross piece that goes in there. This is just two pieces of, doesn't really matter the length. I think these are 7 inches with a little close nipple here, like 2.5 inches. I drilled a little hole in here so I could feed the wires to charge the iPad up through here, and then they'll come out. What I found is that this it's not very stable back and forth, so I made this piece here with another 45 on there that just kind of goes as a front leg down to the floor, and that makes it a lot more stable back and forth. I didn't glue these on because you don't really need to. If you want to, obviously you can. Okay, so the wires will go through there. I put a little tape on here because the paint was rubbing off on the console when it moved, so I didn't want that. So that just goes on there. My charger is in the center console. If you're using the cigarette lighter in the center console, like by the radio, then you can just spin this whole thing, obviously, around the other way so that the wires can come in from the front, but mine come in the back. So, and then this other piece here, this is just a close nipple. I think it's about 2 inches. That goes in there so that you can angle. This is the top piece. So you can turn it and angle it however you want. So I think mine ends up to be about like that. So that's the stand part. The other part here, I don't really know what these are. I'm not really sure what they're for, but I just got them at Home Depot or Lowe's. This is what holds the rack, the stand, and they slide right on here. I found that one isn't tight enough, and it's just, it moves around too much. So 2 of these work pretty good. Got your 1/4 bolts that go in through the wood, through these end caps to hold it all together. So I'm going to cut this other piece. This is roughly, I just traced the outline of my iPad on here. Obviously you don't have to paint it, but I used that kind of rubber rubber paint, and it makes it so that the iPad doesn't slide around much because the case of my iPad is rubberized. So with this painted, here's the other one that I made that was on here. But when I tried to cut this slot in here, it got all messed up, so that's why I'm going to do another one. But this creates a pretty sticky surface, and I've taken some corners and the iPad really doesn't go anywhere. So we'll show how I made the other part here in just a sec. Okay, so these here I drilled out this back thing just so that I could get to the nut in there. I just cut this board, and then that way I can get that in there and tighten that up. And then I countersunk that hole, but I want to make sure that this is in the right place. It doesn't really matter if it's too far away, but it can't be too close. So right there, just a quarter inch bit here. So I'm just going to countersink this other hole with this countersinking a bit. So what I'm trying to do on this part here is I want to make it so that this, when it's on here, can turn this way. Because I found that when I get it out of the way, it doesn't end up pointing the right direction if it can't spin sideways. So this one here, and this is going to be the tricky part, I want to be able to turn it. So somewhere in here, and I really only need to turn it, let's see if that's the top, I need to turn it that way. So those ones are the wrong way. I need to go this way. So I'm going to drill these other holes in here and try to make this Is there a better way to do this? Probably. I want to countersink those. Before I notch the whole thing out. And then we'll kind of see how that works. That actually looks way better than the other, obviously than the other one did. And then the last two, so I'm going to take this quarter round. I pre-drilled these holes in here just so that it would sit on the bottom for the iPad to rest on. And I just want to drill teeny tiny holes in there. Well, just little pilot holes. Line that up. Those right. And then that's about it. I'm going to throw some paint on this, and I'll show you what it looks like in the car.